You know, in my mid-20s, my 20s and teens, I grew up with two dogs, April and Penny. April was a pure chocolate lab, and Penny was a Chesapeake Bay mixed with a chocolate lab. April was the one that was, she was the alpha bitch, really. And Penny was the one that was protective, because she was protective, I guess is the word. So, because it got me thinking after I was watching Turner and Hooch. Academy Award winner Tom Hanks, 1993, Best Actor Philadelphia, 94, Best Actor Forrest Gump. Stars as Scott Turner, a compulsively neat detective whose tidy world goes to the dogs when he's forced to team up with a drooling slob of a junkyard dog named Hooch. Not exactly man's best friend, Hooch turns Turner's life upside down, wrecking Turner's home, career, and budding romance. It's a hilarious non-stop test of wills between this mismatched duo, leading to the most unlikely friendship you've ever seen. Turner and Hooch thrilled audiences with its offbeat blend of humor and suspense. This fast-paced box office mega hit is loads of fun. You'll sit up and beg for more, says Good Morning America. Tom Hanks is downright funny, New York Daily News. If you want to talk about a buddy cop movie that could be taken to the dogs, but somehow works with the chemistry of a big, slobbering, drooling dog and Tom Hanks, this is it. The plot is paper thin. A person who lives on like a wharf or something like that gets billed, and the dog is very angry, very aggressive, and sees the people who billed his owner, Amos. And Turner appears on the scene and somehow manages to coax the dog into living with him. And, you know, it's like, it's basically just it's a story of just getting the piecing together the case and trying to complete it. It's a paper thin plot, and there's also a romance that again is like okay. It's okay at best, but what really stars is the chemistry of Tom Hanks and Hooch. To quote Ellen Alda from the movie Crimes and Misdemeanors, comedy is tragedy plus timing. This right here is the definition of tragedy plus timing. There are some legendary scenes in here. There is the dog that is eating the inside of eating the car while Hanks runs inside trying to get some information about what was it, the dog or something like that? I'm trying to remember. And he just goes to town on the seat. Arguably the most legendary part is when Hanks, who is channeling his inner Bill Murray, goes around to each section of his house and says, "This is my kitchen. This is where I prepare my food. This is not your room. This is where I sleep. You will not be sleeping here. This is not your room." He says it with the most hilarious deadpan expression that you could ever see. Goes around, turns the light on, and says it, turns the light off. It's just done with such dry humor that you gotta love it. It is just absolute, just hilarity. And then there's where he's going to the grocery store, because he buys just this little dinky, he buys a little dinky can of dog food, about the size of a regular tuna can. This is cat food right here. This is good enough to fill my cat, who's cameoed in some videos. Instead, a guy recommends this instead. Hang on. At the very least, get this size of dog. What is this? 18 pounds? And then he says, no, this is killer, you know? And just, so instead he gets a massive bag of dog food, gets a flea collar, just gets a whole bunch of food. All the while, on the other side is the dog that is just demolishing his house. goes in the food, drinks the beer. That's what I remember as a kid. I watched this movie, oh God, 25 years ago with my grandpa, which I'm kind of doing it as a more of a tribute to both the dogs and my grandpa. But this one's a comedy, so it's like I'm just trying to reconnecting with the past, but at the same time, it's like the dichotomy going on between the grocery store and again, just pretty much just destroying the house. It's so freaking funny, It's like goes up to the radio, and then you hear the song, the phrase "Sunday, Sunday, Sunday." Just destroys the radio because the dog doesn't know what's going on. He's just a big slobbering, lovable idiot. So, and then eventually, in his underwear, Hanks gets locked out of his own house because the dog locks the door. I'm like, this is too funny. So then he's trying to go all around, locks all the doors, checks them all, manages to break through the window, but the dog's like, "Rrrr." Eventually he does get back in. So, then, it's like, then he does get back in, and, they start cracking the case. So they have Reginald Vell Johnson, who's either on, what was that, Family Matters or Family Ties? I forgot. He's there as a new trainee. And I'm like, okay, so we got something that's kind of a tribute to 48 Hours with Nick Nolte and, what was that? Eddie Murphy, which I may review sometime. There's maybe connection there, maybe not. I don't know. I felt like this pairing could have, kind of disliked each other at first. But then through the dog, they warm up to each other. I was hoping we've at least gotten a little bit of a bonding experience between the two, but nope, it's just new recruit, and we've got the professional who talks about very specificities of a coroner's report that is mentioned in the movie, and I'm like, I don't know, it's just, again, the paper thin plot. The police chief was teaming with the barely there criminals, so it's just like, this is the most just kind of banal paper thin plot, almost little to no substance of this actual story-wise or the crime. It's cliched filled. I mean, it's like, Hanks even looks like Bob Saget, who played in a Full House. This would be, I would call this a cop buddy sitcom. Yes, I just said that. Starring Bob Saget. Yeah, I don't know. But that's not what you're here for. You are here for the comedy that is between this big slobbering doofus and Tom Hanks. Hanks was spent time with the dogs and know each other. Henry Winkler was set to direct this, but because Hanks and Winkler didn't get to like each other, whatever reason, there's a quote of him saying, "I liked Hooch more than I liked Turner." So they made up, and it was just for whatever reason. I don't know. So yeah. So if you want a movie with it's like, make some popcorn, get the kids around, have some laughs, just watch and Turner and Hooch.